Greetings, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I want to welcome you to my new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast series. We have been overwhelmed with the responses that people have shared from listening to these messages on my SiriusXM show over the years. Those listeners, and they're sharing my show with their network, telling people about it, telling their family members, their friends, and their coworkers about this show and the impact it's having on their lives. That's the main reason that this show is now #1 for self-help in America, and I'm very grateful. Yet, we realize that many people do not have satellite radio and therefore could not experience for themselves the message. They could not get it for themselves. So we are now sharing these messages with everyone via this new podcast. Enjoy it and share it with your network. And let's help even more people to do more, be more, and achieve more. Tell everybody so that they can live a Wealthy Ways life as well. Welcome to the new Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways podcast. And remember, your best is yet to come.
Named one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world.
Inducted into the Speaker Hall of Fame.
Award-winning singer.
Best-selling author.
And now, here's Willie Jolley.
Are you tired of crying and complaining? Tired of feeling like life don't treat you fair? Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My mind. It's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, think again, 'cause I'm telling you it don't. The fact is, it only takes a minute to make up your mind, and now is your time to make your run. It only takes a minute, 60 seconds to begin to decide to win. Just get it on. Just get it on.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Willie Jolley coming to you live and in living color. And I am excited about another opportunity to share some ideas with you to help you grow and go to the next level. I hope you're ready to grow and go to the next level. I hope you're excited as I am excited about today and all the things that today can bring. I am excited today because I get to have some time with you. I want to thank all of you who have worked so diligently, who have made this show the #1 motivational self-help show in America. And I am grateful for that. You know, we started 10 years ago and we just kept on trying to make sure we gave you great content, great guests, and thanks to you telling your friends, your family members, your cousins, your aunts and uncles, this show now is #1 across America, so thank you. I also, I take a moment, folks, at the beginning of every show to give God glory, to thank him for everything. Not just the fact that the show is doing well, no, not just the fact of television, radio, not just all of that. I am grateful for life and strength and health. I'm grateful for being here in the land of the living with my mind and my body and my family, and grateful for everything. So I hope you have an attitude of gratitude, because your gratitude and your attitude make a difference in your success. Now, last thing I want to say is I want to say hello to everybody who I've met on the Get Motivated tour. As you have come up to me, I want to thank you. Every time you tell me that you hear me on SiriusXM and you listen to this show, I am blown away, because I don't know who's listening and I don't get to see you, but when you come up, you just bless me. So keep coming up. I'll be at a city near you, and if you want to know what cities, go to williejolly.com and make sure to look at my schedule. In fact, go to williejolly.com and sign up for my free access pass so you'll get newsletters as to when I'm coming your way. All right, let's get going. I've got a super special guest today. A superstar in the speaking industry, in the self-help industry, and a dear friend. You know him for a number of reasons, and you'll know him for the fact that he is one of the greatest speakers, coaches, writers on the planet Earth. He is a man who is known by how he motivates and drives and inspires people to do the impossible. He is a Harvard graduate with a master's degree in psychological education and one of the earliest champions of peak performance, developing specific methodologies and results-oriented activities to help people take on greater challenges and produce breathtaking and breakthrough results. He also is known in the world as the co-founder of the Chicken Soup for the Soul book series. That's right. The books that you have on your shelf, all of the 100 and I don't know how many now. I'm grateful to be in a couple of them. And he is the author of the best-selling book, The Success Principles, How to Get From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And he has a new book, too, called The 30-Day Sobriety Solution. We'll talk about that as well. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friend, the one and only Jack Canfield. Jack, are you there?
I am here, Willie. I am all pumped up just by your introduction.
Well, I am
grateful
to have you here, folks. This guy is the real deal. He is a guy who I've known for, Jack, we've probably known each other 20 plus years from the National Speakers Association. And I remember when Chicken Soup first came out. W. Mitchell was the first one to tell me about this book that was just phenomenal. And he said, Willie, this is going to be big. And what's most important, though, is I want you to, in a few minutes, because I've told the story from my voice, but I want to hear from your voice how you and our friend Mark Victor Hansen, who has also been on this show, how you had to struggle. This was not just a walk in the park to get Chicken Soup for the Soul out. It was not a walk in the park to get it published, and it was not a walk in the park to get it to be a success. It did not happen just by snapping your fingers. You had a lot of disappointments, setbacks, and challenges. Talk a little bit about it, please.
Well, you're right. When we first I came up with the idea, and I met Mark at a breakfast. We decided we would end up doing it together. And, we went to New York with a literary agent to sell the book. We had 21 meetings over the course of several days with major publishers, and everyone said, it's a stupid title. People don't read collections of short stories. Thank you, no. So we left New York. Our literary agent actually gave us the book back and said, I can't sell it. Mark and I then basically talked to over about 140 publishers over the course of a year and a half before we finally went to the American Booksellers Association. Went from booth to booth to booth for 3 days. It was late on the third day that one little publisher down in Florida that we'd never even heard of said, well, we'll read it. So about 2 weeks later, they said, we'll publish it. And we said, how many copies do you think you'll sell? He said, well, I think you'll be lucky to sell 20,000 copies. And I said, well, that's not our dream. Our vision is to sell 150,000 by Christmas and 1.5 million in a year and a half. Book came out in July. Well, didn't quite hit our goal. We sold 135,000 by Christmas, and then we sold 1.3 million in a year and a half. He stopped.
Hold on, you said 1.3 million in a year and a half?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. He went out and bought a jet at that point. Pretty cool. But anyway, as you said, it wasn't easy to make it hit the bestseller list either. We literally did something we called the Rule of 5 every day for 14 months. It was 14 months after the book came out that it hit the bestseller list. Number 14 on the Washington Post, then it climbed up, and then it hit the New York Times, climbed up to number 1, stayed there for 3 years, Willie. And so basically that was the thing. But this Rule of 5 that Mark and I did was every day we did 5 things. We'd call 5 newspapers and say, would you review the book? We'd call 5 churches and say, can we come in and we'll replace your sermon this week? You won't have to prepare a sermon. We'll do a sermon based on Chicken Soup for the Soul stories that illustrate biblical principles. And all we ask is we can sell books in the back of the church or if you have a bookstore. But we did 5 things every single day. And eventually, it got up to where it was and it stayed there. And it takes that kind of work, I think. And most people, unfortunately, aren't willing to do that kind of work. It takes perseverance, takes commitment to your purpose and your vision, and a steadfastness in the face of a lot of obstacles.
That's the amazing part about this story is that I've heard the story I've heard the story from Mark and Jack, folks, over the years, and every time I hear it, I'm re-inspired, reinvigorated, because they did the work. Folks, I want y'all all to realize there were some pearls he dropped in here. One is that, how many people turned you down, Jack?
144 publishers.
144 publishers turned him down. He got turned down 144 times. It was the 145th person who probably said yes, or well, you probably got more than that because you were going around from booth to booth. So they'll probably even.
No, we got one, Willie, one. We got one.
Just one. And then, if I remember right, he didn't want to even give you a big advance.
He gave us no advance.
Right.
No advance.
Right. And he thinks, I'm happy if you do 20,000, but they had a big vision. So first, folks, that's the first thing I want y'all to get. Have a big vision. Second thing they did, they worked. They were willing to do the work. They were taking action on that vision. And then they made the decision not to listen to the naysayers and all the negative voices and all the people say it's impossible. And then they had great desire. Now, if y'all have read any of my books, you know I talk about the fact you've got to have great desire. And that's what these gentlemen did. And they have gone on to create the singular #1 selling book series of all time. Of all time. Am I right, Jack?
Yeah, we sold 500 million copies in 47 languages around the world of over 225 titles.
Wow, folks, that shows you it's possible. Some of you have dreams and goals and ideas that you've been thinking about, but people have turned you down. They've said, no, keep going. You've had situations which were challenging. Keep going. Don't give up. These gentlemen are great examples of faith. They're great examples of perseverance, and they're great examples of having a system, the rule of 5, doing something, 5 things every day. Now, did each one of you do 5? I mean, you did 5 and Jack, Mark did 5?
I think there were days where we both did 5, and there were days where we divided up.
Okay, got it.
It just depended.
So they were able to build this, ladies and gentlemen, and build something that's magnificent and has created a historic place, but also more importantly than anything else, a program and a system and a process and a product that has literally changed lives. Because I'm in Chicken Soup for the Christian Soul #2, and as well as the 101 best stories of all time. And my story about losing my mother, my brother, and father-in-law, and how we had a God-given miracle that lifted the grief off of me after losing them within a couple of days of that. It was a opportunity to share that in this book, and people have said that book, as well as the other stories, Joyce Meyer's stories, other stories, W. Mitchell stories, other stories that have changed their lives. I'm telling you, folks, this is a life-changing book, a series. Now, we're going to come back and talk about his new book, which will change your life, too. He got 2 new books, so we want to talk about those. We'll be right back. You're listening to Dr. Willie Jolley across America, for sure, and for sure, the best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. We'll be right back.
You can call me. Saying you need a friend. Oh,
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and if you're enjoying this information you're hearing on this podcast, I want to invite you to get even more great information on my new free gift page on my website. Go to wjspeaks.com and hit the All Access badge. On that page, you will find information and resources specifically designed to help you to have greater success. Free ebooks, music, all sorts of interesting and informational interviews for my XM show. I'm telling you, this is a great page. And why do I do it? Because I've learned that the more we give, the more we get. And the more we help other people to grow and go to the next level, the more we receive in our business. So we want to help you. Tell your friends about it. Go to Facebook and get my information. Go to my website, get my free resources, and get on wjspeaks.com and hit that All Access badge. It looks like a backstage pass. Click it. You'll get behind the scenes information to the special page to help you grow. All we want in return, all we ask is that you pass it on, because the more you give, the more you get. This is Dr. Willie Jolley. Have a great day.
A to the D to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. A to the T to the T to the I to the T to the U to the D to the E. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's about your attitude. It's all about your attitude.
And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and I am grateful to have my friend Jack Canfield on as my special guest today. Now, you know Jack Canfield, but if you don't, he's the co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, which includes over 40 New York Times bestsellers, and he has gotten a new book, two new books actually. One is called The Success Principle, which is a book that he put out 10 years ago, and then he revised it, and it is awesome. Just awesome. I'm going to tell you a story about someone who loves that. And then he has a new book, another new book that is brand new called The Sobriety Solution, or the 30-Day Sobriety Solution. So we're going to talk about both of those. But before we do, I want to give Jack a moment, because I know some of you are truckers or in your car and you want to hear more. Remember that you can hear this interview 4 times over a week. My show airs 4 times, on Saturday at 4 Eastern, Monday mornings at 8 a.m., Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m., and Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. So you can hear my show, each interview 4 times, or you can go to my website, williejolly.com/radio, and we'll try and make sure that's available, or how a way for you to hear these interviews. And also, if you want to get some of these pearls that I get from them, I put them out on my newsletter, just some of the written pearls, like already the 5-day solution, how you got to do something, the rule of 5. And so I want Jack to tell people where they can reach him, sign up for his newsletter, where they can get more information for his products and services, as well as have him come speak for your organization. Jack, where should they go?
It's very simple. Just go to Jack Canfield, C-A-N as in Nelly, F-I-E-L-D, jackcanfield.com, and you can sign up for our 10-day success challenge, which is free. Get a 3-minute video every day with a little challenge for the day that will help you integrate 10 success principles. Also find out about all our books and audio programs, and also our trainings. We have live trainings that train people to be trainers, and also just something called Breakthrough to Success. So jackcanfield.com.
Awesome. So we all know now the Chicken Soup for the Soul success story was not easy. Okay, you got turned down. You had to pay your own way to the book fair. You had to go from booth to booth. Finally, after being turned down by lots of people, one guy says, okay, I'll give you a shot. I don't have no money to give you as an advance. And then he doesn't even think you're going to sell that much. And you have to do the real work to market and promote the book, and you did it. And the result was the book finally hit the major bestsellers list. One thing I want to talk about that is critically important, and I want to do that before I get into the books, is that you have a product that you haven't even mentioned yet that I just adore. I love it. It's your vision board on your app. Your vision board app is awesome. I have given that thing out to more people. Tell us about the power of the vision board and how that helped you have great success, and when they can get the app.
Well, I have a vision board every year. I update it, change it for the new goals I have. My vision board is actually the inside of my door of my office, so it's about 8 foot tall and about 3 feet wide. And some people just put them on your refrigerator. Some people, we have a vision board product, which is actually a fold-out vision board you can make that you can put in your home. It looks leather bound, is made in China. It's really beautiful. That's on our website as well, vision board. But we also have the app that you talked about, which you can go to Amazon.com, not Amazon.com, iTunes rather, and just go to the App Store and you can download that. But the idea of a vision board is that you want to have pictures that you can look at that represent the goals you have, both personal goals in terms of things like money you want to make. You can put a amount up there. You can put pictures of the things you want to own. You can put things that represent qualities that you want to manifest, like love and courage and perseverance. And, my favorite story about the vision boards is that one of my students, Cynthia Dodona, who lives in Santa Barbara, she made a vision board. She took a workshop with me. It was a one-day workshop, went home, made a vision board, and she wanted to get married in Greece, and she wanted to have her honeymoon there. And at the time, she had no boyfriend. She had never been to Greece. And so she put pictures of the Greek islands up there. You can go online and print them out in magazines and so forth. Put couple, happy, romance, married, all that. And literally 6 months later, I always show this slide in my workshops. I have a picture of her sitting on one of those white buildings, that you see in Santorini. And she's just sitting there with her new husband 6 months later.
Wow.
And literally everyone I've ever taught that to has manifested great things. We had a company down in Orange County where it was a high-tech company and nobody was making their quotas. So we actually made a visual vision board, which was a little video that played every 2 minutes that said anyone who makes their quota gets to go to Brazil. And we played that little video every hour on the hour for a year. And the year before, only 10% of the salespeople made quota. That year, 100% of the people exceeded their quota by 10% or more. So it's just having that external vision of the goal that you want to achieve so that it programs the subconscious mind to actually believe it is possible. It gives it a destination, like when you program the GPS system in your car. The GPS in your mind works in images and it works in words as well. And then you have to empower it with feelings. So when you look at your vision board, you feel the feelings of gratitude, of contentment, of abundance and prosperity, what you would feel when you'd already achieved it. And if you want to take it further, you just close your eyes and visualize it internally. But the vision board reminds you to do that. And it's a very, very powerful tool. Everyone I've ever known has made a vision board. My students come back and say within 2 years, 70-80% of my visions have all come true, and I have to make a new board.
Wow. I really encourage people to do this. One of the people who have really had an impact on me getting my vision board was Steve Harvey. Now, many of you know I'm on WHUR radio in Washington daily with my motivational minutes, and I precede Steve Harvey on the air. And he talks about his vision board and how he has created a vision board, and it has transformed his life from being broke, busted, and disgusted about 10 years ago now. He got fired from his job in L.A. on the radio, and he said he was broke, busted, disgusted, and he was going through a divorce, and he did a vision board, and it started to change his life and has continued to change his life. And we all know now he is probably the hottest television property in America because he says that vision board changed everything. So I encourage everybody who's listening to make a point to get a vision board and get either Jack's package to do that on his website or get the app that will do it. Now, let's talk about the book, The Success Principles. And I told y'all I was going to have a story about this. There's a young lady named Merquette. Miss Merquette is the host of the Great Day Washington program in Washington, D.C. on the CBS affiliate. I was doing an interview on that show a couple weeks ago about my new book, Turn Setbacks into Greenbacks, and I was doing my tour for that. And so when I got there, they did the pre-interview and told me what they wanted to talk about, and she was excited. She said, "I've read your books. I've heard about you. I've known of you. I've seen on TV. Thank you." She said, "You're just about my favorite motivational personality and success person." I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." She said, "You're right up there next to Jack Canfield." I said, "Well, he's a friend of mine." And she said, "That book, The Success Principles, changed my life." It changed my life. And let me tell you, folks, I got the book. I got the revised edition, and I have gone through it and marked it up. Every page, there's a marking on here. I mean, I could just go page to page. I've got it underlined. I got it marked in the margins. It's terrific. It's a terrific book, and it's so powerful. I take 100% responsibility for your life. Take 100% responsibility for your life. You must take personal responsibility. You cannot change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. There's one line in here that I love, and I said to my son, I can't do a push-up for you. Good God Almighty. Jack, let's talk about some of the principles here in this book, because it is such a powerful book. And I also like the fact that you have broken it down into step by step that will take you from point A to point B and how you can help people to do it. So let's talk a little bit about some of the principles you share in that book.
Well, first of all, I have to tell you, you mentioned your son, and the reason we got this book published because we went to New York and met with a lot of people, and eventually had an auction where several publishers wanted it, but it was a bid up to where we got like almost $1 million advance for the book. And the reason that they were bidding was this one publisher had taken the book home, read it. Her daughter picked it up and started reading it. In the first chapter, take 100% responsibility, says no complaining and no blaming. E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. If you don't like the outcome, don't blame the event, change your response. So on Monday morning, the mom was complaining about something, and the 16-year-old said, Mom, E plus R equals O. Quit complaining. Change your response. And then she said, oh, my God, if my daughter got it after a weekend, this must be a really powerful book. So anyway, that first principle is really, really important.
It really
is. It's the foundation.
It really
the foundation of everything.
You know, folks, you cannot hire someone else to do your push-ups for you. You can't do it. You have to do the work yourself, and that's what they were willing to do. And it's time to start living the life you've imagined. That's from Henry James. And the fundamentals of success. The first part one of this book is take 100% responsibility, and we have to do that. And then I'm encouraging people to take full responsibility for your success, for your failure, for your good, for your bad. One of the things that I learned, many of you know I worked with Ford Motor Company. Alan Mulally is one of the great managers, great CEOs. And what he did was went to Ford and said that they had been around with, some of them had been, the emperor has no clothes. And he said, no, I want the truth. I want the truth, the bare, basic, hard truth. What is going on here, and how do we assess it so that you can tell yourself to do and not make excuses, and don't blame anybody, but you go about getting it done. You have to give up blaming. I love this piece in here that Jack wrote. You are the only one who ate the junk food. You're the only one who didn't say no. You're the one who took the job. You're the one who stayed on the job. You're the one who chose to believe them. You're the one who ignored your intuition. You're the one who abandoned your dream. You're the one who bought it. You're the one who didn't take care of it. You're the one who decided you had to do it alone. You're the one who trusted him or her, and you're the one who said yes to the dogs of life. And so the buck stops here. You got to go with it and say, okay, I messed up, I did it, and stop placing blame, making excuses, and you do it. We're going to look at how you can do this through this book, but I want to encourage everybody that if you're complaining to the wrong person. That's in here too. You know, Les Brown says it like this: when you complain to somebody, 80% of the people don't care, and the other 20% are just glad it's not them. You got to stop complaining and get about doing the work that is going to make your life better, and go from a victim mentality to a victor mentality. And so that's what we want to talk about, and how Jack has done this, and there's story after story over these 10 years. And I love that part of this book, Jack, how you're able to show people who have used these principles to change their lives. And that's powerful. It's a powerful book, folks. The Success Principles, and that's with Janet, isn't it right? That's you co-authored that with Janet Switzer.
Janet Schweitzer, yeah, she helped me write it. She's
a great lady, and I've known her for many years as well. So, folks, what we're going to do is going to take a quick station identification. Then we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Success Principles book, but then we're going to jump into this new book and how you can get a 30-day sobriety solution. So this is exciting. We got the one and only Jack Canfield, and this is Dr. Willie Jolley. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and for years I've told people that in order to have a greater life, it starts by having greater individual days. If you have a great day and you repeat that great day 7 times, you've had a great week. And you repeat that week 4 times, you've had a greater month. And then repeat that month 12 times, you've had a greater year, and you're on your way to a greater life. And it starts with that individual day. I recommend you start each day with something powerful. I call it the pure, the powerful, and the positive. Rather than starting your day with bad news, how many people got killed or how many children got snatched or how many fires there were, I recommend you start your day with something to inspire and empower and encourage you to make this day a great day. We're excited to announce the start of Jolley TV on my Facebook page. Go to Willie Jolley, Willie.Jolley on Facebook. Just go to Willie.Jolley on Facebook and get ready for a great day and a great life. Have a great day on purpose. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and my special guest today is the one and only Jack Canfield, the co-founder of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, co-creator. And many of you know we had Jack's partner, Mark Victor Hansen, some time ago. And we have found one thing about these two gentlemen. They speak good into their future. They speak good into their life. They speak good into their families. They speak good into their finances. So, Jack, for a minute, just real for a minute, take a minute and talk about the power of your words and your thinking and your disposition. Because you're an expert also on self-esteem. So talk a little bit about that.
Well, no, your words create your reality. You know, all of our thoughts and our words create reality. They all have a vibration to them. They're a high vibration because they're positive. Words like I will versus words like I can't. Can't has a lower vibration. I'll often muscle test people in my trainings, and I'll have them say, I can't play the piano. Their arm goes weak. I have them put their arm up again. I push down and say, I can play the piano. Even if they've never learned how, but they have the capacity. I can play the piano. Their arm is strong. I have them remember a failure. Their arm goes weak. Remember a success. Their arm goes strong. Think of someone you hate. Arm goes weak. Send them loving forgiveness. Arm stays strong. So we can go down the list there. Words like try, have to. All those words are victim words. And there's a language of victim, a language of victor, as you said. And so we want to learn how to create our future by talking about it as if it's already happening. It's a done deal. It's on its way. Positive expectation. We fully expect it to happen. And that attitude that you talked about earlier has a vibration. You're around people that we call, well, that person's really up. That person's really down. And so literally down is depressive and up is high energy. And so we want to say words and we want to be in a space of love, compassion, joy, forgiveness, all these higher qualities that have been talked about in the great religions all through history. It's not an accident. You know, we talk about Jesus being loving, about Buddha being unconditionally accepting of everything. And the reason for that is that higher vibration makes a difference. When you appreciate somebody, it raises the energy between the two of you. If you look in the mirror every night, I teach this called the mirror exercises. You look in the mirror, and for about 2 or 3 minutes every night, you start by saying your name. You say, I appreciate you for the following things. You know, here's what you did today. Here's the temptations you overcame. Here's the accomplishments you got done. And then I love you at the end. And invariably, people, if they do that for about 40 to 50 days, their whole relationship to themselves changes. Because most people, they're letting their inner critic run them as opposed to turning their inner critic into an inner coach. So all of these are learnable things. You can learn to change your language. And you learn to listen to programs like this show. You learn to watch TED Talks. You learn to read positive, uplifting books like Chicken Soup for the Soul and the books you write and Lisa Nichols writes and Brian Tracy writes and Mark Victor Hansen writes and Tony Robbins writes. You want to surround yourself with that kind of words so that your mind starts to be thinking that way. Because the rich people, as you know, they think a different kind of thought than people that are in poverty.
That's exactly right. And I want to go there for a minute because many of the people who listen to this show, and we've had a couple million people now who are starting to listen to this show, many of them are entrepreneurs, intrapreneurs, small business owners, small business people, and some are wannabe small business people. They want to start a company. They want to be wealthy. They want to be successful. They may be stuck. They may have had a setback. They may have gone through a devastating divorce, or they've gone through the death of a loved one or a disease. I don't know what we went through, but what do you say to people if you were in a class of college students and they want to be entrepreneurs and want to be wealthy? What are some of the steps you would tell them that they need to employ?
Well, first of all, you have to decide exactly what you want. So define what does wealthy mean to you. Does it mean having $1 million a year income? Does it mean having $600 million? Does it mean just being able to make $250,000 a year and not be, in the lower 10% of the income earners in the world? So be very clear, very specific. What kind of company do you want to have? What kind of service do you want to offer? What kind of difference do you want to make? And I would say to all entrepreneurs, don't focus so much on the money. Focus on the difference you want to make. Focus on what makes you come alive. Focus on what you're passionate about, what makes you want to get up in the morning and pursue it. Follow your dream. Follow your heart. And so when you do that, you'll find that the world needs what you want to give. Every one of us has an inborn purpose, something we're meant to do. Mine is to inspire and empower people to live their highest vision in the context of love and joy. For someone else, it's to bring order and chaos. You're being a personal organizer into order, So basically what happens is we have to tune into that life purpose, and I've got an exercise for doing that in my book. Then create the vision for your ideal life, not just your business, but your family, your health, your relationships, your travel, your fun, your hobbies, all of that. Then turn it into specific measurable goals that have deadlines. How much by when. Has to be measurable by a third person. Create an affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now earning $200,000 a year. Or I'm so happy and grateful that I'm now the national sales manager of my company. Or I'm so happy and grateful that I've now helped 100,000 people get off welfare, whatever it might be. Then visualize what it would look like when it was done. So you close your eyes, you have your affirmations for your goals, you visualize what it would look like, feel the feelings you would feel. Then you create an action plan for what you think you want to do. If you don't know what to do, go find somebody who's already done it. They've written books, they're mentors, they put down programs, they have franchise plans, they have workshops they've done. There's all kinds of information out there. I think it's very good to find a mentor. The other thing is have a mastermind group and an accountability partner. The problem with being an entrepreneur is you're in charge of your own life. You don't have a boss. Most of us, when we don't have a boss, we avoid the uncomfortable things. We only want to do what's comfortable. And unfortunately, most of the breakthroughs do what's called uncomfortable. They require you to stretch and grow. And so you want someone like you and me, Willie, if we got on the phone every morning for 5 minutes, I would tell you the 5 things I'm committed to today. You tell me your 5. And tomorrow I tell you, did I do them or not? You tell me if you did them or not. If I didn't do them for a couple of days in a row, you say, Jack, how committed are you to this? Come on. And I start feeling embarrassed that I got to tell you I didn't do it. That's enough pressure to actually get me to do it.
Right.
I always tell people, if you didn't have to send in, if the IRS said send in your money anytime, none of us would get around to it.
Right.
But when they say April 15th, sometime at the end of March, we all get busy. So having a deadline and someone you're accountable to. Recent research shows that if you just have a goal in your head but you don't write it down, you're about 40% likely to do something about it. If you simply write it down, it increases the chances you'll achieve it by 17%. If you write it down and tell someone else that you've written it down, it increases it by another 20%. And then if you have an accountability partner where you're held accountable to that goal on a consistent basis, I recommend 5 days a week. Some people say once a week. It raises it up another percent. So you go from 42%, I think it is, up to 67%. That's a huge leap just from doing those 3 things we talked about. And finally, I would say respond to feedback. Most people don't respond to feedback. And the main question I teach entrepreneurs to ask your clients, ask your staff, ask your customers, ask your suppliers, ask, everybody. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this company, me as a boss, this product, our service, me as a husband, me as a father? Anything less than a 10 gets a follow-up question. What would it take to make it a 10? The problem is most people never ask that question. They don't know what people need in order to say, wow, that's a great company, or that's a great service, or that's a great dad, that's a great husband. So that question most people never ask because they're afraid of the answer. But you can't get better if you don't know what it is that's going to make you better. And then finally, persevere. Never, ever give up. Remember, 144 rejections. The book that became the movie MASH was rejected by 22 publishers. And I could give you 100 examples of that, which we have in the book. So that's the basic core essence of my system. Now there's 67 principles in my book. 25 of them are core, but the ones I just gave you are like blocking and tackling and passing in football.
Right.
You need to know that system. Do the right thing at the right time in the right way in the right order, and you're a guaranteed success. We always say the principles always work. if you always work the principles.
The principles work if you work the principles. I wrote a principle years ago that I got from you and Mark. Massive right thinking, massive right action creates massive right results. I will never forget that. I wrote it down in my planner. I heard y'all at NSA when the Chicken Soup book was starting to blow up, and the two of you were telling me, hey guys, here's how we did this. You know, you got to persevere. We got turned down by lots of people. We had to do the 5 things every day. We had to go to church. And I even remember you talking about putting the book in places like beauty shops and car washes. And I mean, just out of the box thinking kind of things. Y'all were just you're creative thinkers. And folks, that's what I want y'all to hear from Jack, is that this is a fight. You've got to fight and use all your skills, all your abilities, all your faith, all your focus to live the dream that you want, to love kind of life. And it's possible. It shows it's possible. I mean, you guys have shown it is possible, and now you're able to make a difference in people's lives. One thing I want to applaud you for, many people know I went back and got my doctorate, and my doctorate's in ministry, and one of my areas of interest is trying to cut down a recidivism of people who go to jail and are coming out with. So I try and put my book, a setback and set up for a comeback, into prisons and to put it in audio and as well as book form. But I got that idea from you guys, because you guys put Chicken Soup for the Soul in prisons. You put them in lots of prisons. Did. Yeah, I mean, tell them a little bit about that, please.
Well, we said to our publisher we won an award. It was $8,000 for the book of the year, which the bookstore said is the book we most want to tell people to buy when they walk into our bookstore. And it was an $8,000 prize. We didn't need the money, so I said to my publisher, "Will you match that? We'll take $16,000. We'll give away 16,000 books to prisoners." And we did that. And as a result of that, they started writing stories, and we ended up doing a book called Chicken Soup for the Prisoner's Soul, which were all stories about how to go through prison positively. And people would say things like, when I came into prison, I was not taking responsibility. I was blaming everybody. I read your book, and now I realize I am responsible. I'm being nice to the guards. I ask them how their weekend is. I'm counseling the other people on my cell block, and now I'm happy. And as a result of being happy, I'm not getting in trouble. I'm not angry at anybody. I'm getting more privileges, and I'm probably going to get paroled earlier. So, yeah, that's exactly what we did. And we also, we developed a program to get people off welfare called the GOALS program. We've gotten over 400,000 people off welfare in the state of California, including that program is now used as a pre-release program at San Quentin Prison because, again, we want to bring the recidivism down. The problem is in prison, we're punishing people. We're not rehabilitating them.
That's right.
We're not teaching them the skills they never learned. And so it's a matter of consciousness and education and awareness. Once they have that, most people want to do the right thing. They've never just been taught what the right thing was because they grew up in poverty with probably drug-addicted parents. Gangs were around. The only way they could get accepted in a group and feel safe was to join a gang. So they were doing the smart thing based on their environment, but now they have to learn there's a smarter thing based on new awareness.
Amen. Amen. Well, God bless you. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. We got one more segment with my friend Jack Canfield, so stay tuned. You're listening to the Willie Jolley Wealthy Way Show across America, and for sure, your best is yet to come.
Ups and downs. But Lord, since I met you, all that's changed in the blink of an eye. Now all my heart wants to do is fly. You put wings on my dreams and overcame my fear of heights. Now how high will I fly? If I dare to touch the sky.
Hi, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and people often ask, how did I go from a broke, busted nightclub singer to become a best-selling author and to be voted one of the outstanding 5 speakers in the world by the 175,000 members of Toastmasters International? The answer is that I decided to invest and change my thinking, invest in my mindset, and decided to change my inputs because inputs determine outputs. I heard about a seminar years ago when I was just getting started. I was making about $100 a speech. And I heard this seminar that was creating millionaires, and it cost $10,000, but the guy was getting results. I didn't have that kind of money, but I decided to borrow it, because I learned that there's a price for success, the price of college, the price of going to school, the price of education. And there's a price for success, and then there's a cost for not paying the price, the cost of staying the same. And that cost is greater than the price. It's too expensive. And so I went, and it changed my life. And I came back and quickly made $100,000. I heard a similar story from Dr. Dave Martin, how he went to a success rally, heard a speaker who inspired him. He and his friend said, wow, that's changed my life. The speaker had a package of materials to help build wealth. The package cost $1,500. And that was all the money Dr. Dave had to his name. Dr. Dave's friend asked, do you think this stuff is worth it? Dr. Dave thought for a moment. He said, I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it. But I do know that I'm worth it. I'm worth it. He invested that money in that package and used the materials to grow his thinking. He grew his mindset. He shared how that $1,500 investment has gone on to generate millions in revenues. He's a multimillionaire. And he has homes now in Arizona and Florida. I want to say to you, it's time to invest in you. I want to give you some materials that will help you, grow your mindset, grow your future, grow your finances. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire. wjspeaks.com/billionaire to get some materials that will inspire your success and help you find that there's a price for success, but there's a cost for not paying the price. And the cost is always greater than the price. Go to wjspeaks.com/billionaire and get the bag, the box, or any of the materials there, and keep growing your wealth. And remember, as a man thinketh, so as he is, and your best is yet to come. And we're back. This is Dr. Willie Jolley, and my special guest. For those who might have just joined us, you are blessed and in store for a treat. And if you're listening on Saturday, tune in again on Monday mornings at 8. If you're listening on Monday, tune in again on Wednesday evening at 6. And if you're listening on Tuesday, you got one more shot. Wednesday morning at 11. All of that is Eastern time. So if you're on the West Coast, you got to, of course, use it 3 hours earlier. But look, folks, this is a powerful show today because I got my friend Jack Canfield. He's the co-founder and co-creator of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, which includes over 40 New York Times bestsellers. And he has changed the lives of millions of people, millions and millions. He's a renowned trainer, keynote speaker, radio and television show host. He lives in Santa Barbara, California. And he has a new book. I want to get in this book too. It's called The 30-Day Sobriety Solution. And I want to know why you wrote that. What was the meaning? What was the reason for writing that book?
Well, I grew up in an alcoholic family. Both my mother and dad were alcoholics, drank way too much. My dad got violent when he drank. My mother just became kind of depressed and it wasn't fun to be around. My mom left my dad when I was 6, which was good. But then if there is such a thing as an alcohol gene, 2 of my children got it, skipped me. But I went to AA meetings with them. I got them into rehab. And I kept noticing all the stuff that you and I know and that Tony Robbins knows and that Brian Tracy knows wasn't being taught. And I thought, wow, I just want to lead a meditation here. I want to do a closed eye process. I want to do an exercise from my seminar. It would move things along a lot quicker. And so finally, I said, there's got to be a better way. And right about that time, I met a student named Dave Andrews who had taken my work along with Tony Robbins' work and some other stuff and created an online coaching program for people who were addicted to alcohol or just excessive drinkers. So, the subtitle is How to Cut Back or Quit Drinking in the Privacy of Your Own Home. Some people don't want to go to AA because it's too public. Some people feel it's too depressive. Some people don't like the fact that you have to keep affirming I'm an alcoholic. Some people can't go to rehab because it costs $30,000 to $50,000 a month, and they can't afford to take off their job. They don't have that money. Again, that maybe don't want to be that public about it. So I said to Dave Andrews, my co-author, who had developed this coaching program based on all of our work, I said, this is too good to just be a coaching program for a couple hundred people a year. We need to reach the masses. So we took the program, we turned it into a book, we tested it as a book, just a book, with a group of people. It had the same 80% success rate versus the 10% that AA seems to get versus the 15 to 30%. And most people feel those numbers are inflated from the rehab world. So we knew we had something that was a breakthrough. And so the book's been out for a couple of months, and we've got like 56 5-star reviews out of 58 reviews on Amazon.com. and everyone's saying it's changed their life. One guy said, I've been drinking for 12 years every night in my room, shame, and now I've gone 60 days without drinking. And so what it is it's a program that takes you through 30 days. It's a lesson a day, and it takes you into stopping drinking. What's the core essence of why you drink? What's the pain you're trying to numb out? What's the anxiety that you need to deal with? We teach EFT tapping, where you can tap on these acupressure points and actually reduce or remove the craving for alcohol altogether. We deal with the underlying guilt and the shame that comes with this. We help people create a vision for their sobriety. We use all these NLP and neuroscience tested techniques so that over the course of 30 days, it's like you're going through a class of getting sober. And we also have a website that's available. It's free. And every day you can go there, and there's lessons for that day, and there's guided visualizations, there's meditations, there's interviews with people, there's videos of tapping, teach you how to do it so you can tap away these cravings. I mean, it's really a $2,000 course disguised as a book.
Wow.
And we wanted to get it out to the masses. And so people that want to know more about it can just go to 30-day sobriety solution. Or it's actually the 30daysolution.com, the 30-day, D-A-Y, solution, no dash, the 30daysolution.com. And you can order the book at Amazon, or you can order the book on the website. And it's really changing lives, Willie. Our goal is to hopefully transform rehab as well, so that people will start using these techniques in the rehab centers. But the cool thing is, a lot of people said, especially young people today don't see themselves going to AA meetings. They don't see themselves going to rehab. And there's a lot of kids coming out of college who are binge drinking on the weekends, and they're still doing it after work, and now they got more money, and it's affecting their work. So basically they can cut back or quit in the privacy of their own home just by instead of going to happy hour every night, you just do one of these lessons. Takes about a half hour to an hour. And it's just day by day by day, and it's very sequential. It builds on each other, so by the time you're done, most people, the craving's gone, they're sober, and they're happy about it. Some people can cut back, and they can start to reintroduce and see if they're able to do that. If not, then they realize they can't, and then they just, they stop drinking. But also, last thing I would say is this is not just for people that are alcoholics. I did the sobriety solution just to go through it myself to see what it was like, to make sure, I felt good about it in terms of my own experience. I lost 15 pounds. I didn't realize I was drinking glasses of wine every night.
Wow.
And I lost weight. I get better sleep. I woke up earlier. My wife and I had better evenings together because we weren't like just a little bit, under the influence.
Right.
And I'm not a heavy drinker, but it was a bad habit. So
right.
Now I drink only on the weekends and maybe one glass of wine. I feel a lot better. We now have research that shows if you're a woman and you drink 2 glasses of wine a night for 5 nights out of 7, which is a lot of people do, they eat it with dinner, you're 70% more likely to get breast cancer. So there's a lot of diseases now we're finding that just, even just casual, normal drinking. So we're recommending people do what we call the 30-day sobriety challenge. Even if you're not a heavy drinker, just go 30 days without drinking. Get a copy of the book, go through the lessons. And as most people will tell you, it didn't just make me stop drinking. It changed my relationship to myself. I'm a better person. I have forgiven. I have gotten into more positive thinking. I have more goals. I am using the law of attraction. I'm doing affirmations. I'm meditating. I've cut out bad food in my life. I'm exercising more. All these things that we talk about in the book become part of your lifestyle. And it really is a transformational book. So I'm very excited about it.
I love the idea. Now, folks, this is powerful. And Jack and I have some things in common. One, my dad was an alcoholic. And he was a brilliant man, but he was frustrated because he was not able to maximize his brilliance due to segregation and other things. So he would drink. Well, he usually would do it on the weekends. Usually on Friday, Saturday, he would drink. But it was every Friday, Saturday. And it skipped me. But my daughter, she's not an alcoholic, but she's had addiction after challenges over the years. She has an addictive personality. But she's doing really great now and doing well because of changing her inputs. Inputs determine outputs. So I want to encourage people. You might have some symptoms of somebody who in your family, or you might have some family members who need this product, this book. Please go to the 30-day, is it 30daysolution.com? The
30daysolution.com, yes.
All right, great. Now, one more thing I want to ask. Will it help other addictions like overeating, shopping, workaholism, and all that kind of thing?
Yeah, we decided not to make it a generic book like that, but to really focus on the alcohol thing. But one of my friends picked it up in my kitchen, and she started reading. She said, "Oh my God, this would help my eating addiction." So she stopped her binge eating. People have used it for shopaholics, for workaholics, for gambling addiction. So, it wasn't designed for that particularly, but the truth is all addictions are the same. They're all dealing with underlying trauma, pain, and anxiety. And so we're using all these other addictions to numb out our feelings. And once you've learned how to address those feelings, release those feelings, forgive yourself, forgive others, it works for everything. So yeah, eventually we'll do an overeating book and we'll do others. But if you want to jump in now, it will definitely help you. Yes.
I got 2 minutes left, and I want to. So get in that book, folks. And I got 2 minutes left. And one of the challenges we've seen with people, because this is the wealthy ways, is people who have a money problem. They have a problem with making money. They say they want to be rich, but they have a consciousness problem with money. Whether it's a religious issue or they think that they won't be liked if they become wealthy. Real quick, in the next minute, just tell people some strategies they can do to overcome their money issues, fix some of their money problems, because you talk about that in the Success Principles book.
Yeah, we have a whole chapter of the book, or a whole section actually, on money. And the main thing is that we have these beliefs that are controlling us about money. Money's not spiritual. If I have a lot of money, people won't like me. So we look at developing a positive money consciousness and overcoming the limiting beliefs. We have a couple techniques in there about how to turn a limiting belief into a positive belief. What if instead of money absolutely corrupts, what if money empowers me to be of greater service? The more money I have, the more good I can do in the world. Instead of money is not spiritual, the more money I have, the more spiritual I can get, because I can take meditation classes, I can be more philanthropic, I can help people, I can be more generous. So we also talk about learning to pay yourself first. Take 10% of your income and put it into an account that you're going to use as an investment account. We talk about mastering the spending game, how to give more to get more, how to tithe, how to serve others. So, but the basic idea is to overcome those limiting beliefs. You just have to replace them. Right. All beliefs are just a thought that you think over and over and over. You can replace those thoughts. So absolutely. And I would just say one thing, because we have about 30 seconds left. We also now really have a live online training program where people can learn to be a Canfield Success Principles trainer. Our goal is to train 1 million trainers by the year 2030. And people can just go to trainthetraineronline.com and find out how to become a certified Success Principles trainer. And all those issues about money get addressed in there. So as you learn to be a trainer, you're also going through the program yourself. It's very transformational. So really
real quick,
people to
where can people reach you one more time, or anybody who wants to get your products, services, anything like that?
Everything we've talked about is at jackcanfield.com. And then if you want to do the Train the Trainer, go to trainthetraineronline.com, and then the 30daysolution.com.
Excellent. Man, I want to thank you so much. Man, we've been trying to get this interview, and I'm grateful we were able to work it out where both our schedules were aligned so we could get it done. You were awesome as usual, and I am grateful for your friendship. Over the years, you have encouraged me. When I first started speaking and singing, you were one of the first people to encourage me and say, man, you got to do more of that. There's a unique gift, and I've never forgotten you and Mark for encouraging me, for uplifting, inspiring me. So thank you for your friendship, and may God continue to bless you and your family. And for sure, folks, as Jack has said, I agree that you can do it. Stay positive, stay perseverance-minded, and stay on track. And remember, your best is yet to come. God bless you. Have a great week on purpose. And remember, I'll talk to you next week. Have a great day.
Do you see so many others moving on while you're steady going nowhere? Have you maybe come to the conclusion that there's nothing at all that you can do? Well, just look in any mirror and you'll see who is really truly stopping you. My, it's up to every one of us to take charge of our life and to make it what we want. If you think that it takes too much time, you can get
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.